I'm Dave McDonald. I'm a realtor and mortgage broker in San Diego. I have been for about 22 years. And I'm here with the Homeowners for Help group. And we are pushing a credit moratorium. Basically, the thought process behind that is one of the thought processes is a bank report put out by Deutsche Bank the other day said that if nothing is done, that by 2011, 90% of Californians with loans on their properties will be upside down. That is not a good thing. It is anything that happens to those 90%, it can only be bad, either via a modification, a short sale, or foreclosure, because they won't be able to sell their property and get out and buy another one. So what we're trying to do is insist that the big banks get ahead of the game, develop programs that allow people to move that are upside down, that don't damage their credit. What I would like to do is get credit scores deleted from the loan approval process overall, because the banks had it both ways. They were giving loans to people to justify giving them loans with 500 credit score. Now you need a 740 credit score and 30% equity to get the best rate. And so they're managing their capacity and they're managing their credit by increasing the credit score guidelines, and basically that is discriminating against people that have been paying their bills, that could pay their bills, that should qualify for good financing, and they're not qualifying right now. So the big thing here is a credit moratorium to, when 90% of the people only have bad options out there, that means that their credit is going to be damaged in one way or another. That's throwing the 90% of the people under the bus, in my opinion. And that's why the banks such as Chase and the other big Wall Street firms and everything have to come together with Washington and develop a program that will actually have a chance to succeed. And that program will have some kind of a credit moratorium on it, and will actually, in my hopes, would take away the credit approval process that has credit scores involved. HUD guidelines with their FHA loans do not even mention credit scores. It's the banks that are putting the credit score guidelines over and above the initial HUD guidelines. So I would say that there's a lot of things that the big banks could be doing and should be doing that aren't, and to solve the process and to get ahead of it, and just ask me, I'll give you some ideas.
Sounds good. So if people want more information, how do they get a hold of you?
You could actually go onto my blog. It's macplan.blogspot.com. That's macplan.blogspot.com. And there we'll have some. We're developing a plan consistent with the Obama regulatory reform plan that it's meant to evolve with the mindset of the current government. So what we want to try to do is put our plan in the best chance of succeeding with the current political climate. And so that should be up within the next couple of days, if not by next week. And there's actually already some information on there regarding a couple of options that the banks could start doing now. Reducing the upside down, the amount that's upside down to zero, so that the people can actually move. They still have the same debt. The debt's not forgiven, but they're able to move into a new house and buy a new house. It's called traveling debt. They could do that. They could do things that they're not doing to improve the modification process, longer term modification, 50 years, principal reductions, things like that. There has to be a way that there needs to be a way that has to be done to protect the borrower's rights, not just the bank's rights, and additional things like that are short sales. They're dragging people along for months and months. The servicers are dragging people for months and months and months. Very few short sales are still getting approved. I mean, it's basically about a 70% chance of a waste of time on the short sales. Short sales are not going to get approved. So when you have very few modifications getting approved, very few short sales being approved, you're having a lot of people spin their wheels. A lot of business partners, a lot of realtors, a lot of mortgage companies, their own mortgage companies spinning their own wheels, wasting a lot of, in this case, taxpayer dollars in some cases. What I would just like is the banks and the government to be transparent about the problem, like Deutsche Bank was, and start developing programs that allow the movement of people out of their homes into new ones, out of their areas into new areas, so that commerce can happen. When transactions happen, good things happen. And transactions are not happening right now, mainly because of the policies of the banks and the programs developed by the government that is not working. Never really had a chance to work.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that information.